Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa, and today's June 1st. There are things happening all over. There are people stepping down from corporations. There's people getting arrested. We're going to fill you in on some of that and what we think about it and let you know. Today's Woo Woo Wednesday. We've also got a message from Uncle Cliff that I shared to my Patreon. Some of that information, I'll have a little bit more today. So we'll be right back right after this. Hey, public, we missed you yesterday or last week on Wednesday. Thank you for giving me some time to share some people that were really special in my healing journey. I hope you got to watch some of that. It was pretty awesome.
I did.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
So greetings and salutations. It's been a while.
Good to see you again, my brother.
Always good to see you. Always good to see you. My sister from another mister.
Yes. Yeah, and that other mister came through, so he's over here watching us right now, giving us the eye from across the room.
Nice.
Making sure. Oh, okay. Sean's sending me a message. Okay, he's on the way. So Satoshi cool. Sean will be jumping in here in a minute. He's getting an address for me, getting some things together because we have a story to tell you and an opportunity that if you feel led, you can participate in an opportunity to help a family in need.
Very cool. Yeah, no, I didn't. I just heard you mention the message from Uncle Cliff on Patreon. I didn't get a chance. I was swamped at work today. I didn't get a chance to do anything. Maybe we can catch up on that or watch.
Sure.
Or whatever.
Yeah. So he and I were emailing the other night back and forth, and I said, so I sent him an email, and I'm like, hey, so I'm seeing these different things. And sometimes when I see different messages or I'm questioning something, I'll send it to him and kind of, want some feedback from him. And so kind of let me start with my information. I was like, is it possible that just like the fern has to die for people to be free? The corrupt GMO food industry complex has to be destroyed as well. For the good of the people, but it all has to happen under the pretendency for the sheeple that are incapable of understanding what's happening and has been happening for years by the corrupt cabal. But they have to blame Joey for any discomfort of what has to happen before the rebuild. So these are my thought process. Because, if we have this, I even saw somebody say the other day, they had like a picture of Coca-Cola and something. They were like, yeah, I remember when Coke used to have like a caramel taste to it before it went into plastic bottles. And they're talking, and then there was an article today, I tweeted out or retweeted, where they're going to have them stop wrapping food, serving fast food in the PFA. So you don't realize it, but when you think you're getting a paper wrapper, it has plastic in it, or these PFAs.
Yeah, it's got this coating. Yeah.
Yeah. So in that, when you and I read through that long NDAA military document that was in December 27th, that we read through that order, there was going to be a research and then a discovery given to the people about the PFAAs and how detrimental they were to all the people and all this. And it makes me wonder if that's part of the thing where I'm having this like chemical taste thing. Like I can eat hardly anything now. It has to be either like organic, or I say that I can still eat Cheez-Its, which I don't know why I could eat a Cheez-It. Surely that has a bunch of chemicals and crap in it.
But they're just delicious.
But they are delicious. But there's certain things that like I really can't tolerate with in food lately. Everything tastes like really like chemically. I don't know.
Yep.
Anyway, so back to my note.
Possibly the strange energies from space that are coming in, raising elevation, raising frequencies, raising vibes. So the old isn't going to be as good. If it's lower, you're going to notice a difference. If your vibe is rising and you're eating something that's still this lower vibration, it's not going to taste as good.
SL had said that, and somebody else had said something about changing the frequency of your food by like praying over your food, or that's why Christians pray over their food. You're praying to change the frequency of your food. Anyway,
yeah, these are always good too. I've always been a big fan of these. The Tesla purple plates. These were the original ones that were created by Nikola Tesla's assistant, and they're made out of aluminum. And they have small ones. They have smaller ones like these that you can wear around your neck. They have
Rice
is like a business card size. Yep, this is like a business card size, and I have a larger one about 1 foot by 1 foot that I leave in the fridge. It was a really cool thing. So Tesla figured out a way to materialize or solidify the grounding frequencies, the Schumann resonance. It's not exactly the Schumann resonance, but it's similar. It's the frequencies of the Earth. They use a different term. And so let's say this is aluminum, right? And while it's melted, while it's molten, they vibrate a plate or under it, and they vibrate it at the same frequency of the Schumann resonance or of the Earth. And then as it cools, that frequency is embedded within the metal.
That makes sense.
And then this acts almost as an amplifier, and it comes up and it basically magnifies or amplifies the
like Earth's a crystal or
correct.
A snowflake would have that frequency of sound or pattern or whatever in it when it was formed.
All these old patterns, these earth patterns, these frequencies that get put into a physical thing. A lot of the old cathedrals, the windows weren't just pretty stained glass or pretty designs. They were copies of these geometric patterns, and it helped to amplify, almost like speakers, to bring in or to push out. Yeah, it's very interesting. There's only a few that you should buy. There's a lot of knockoffs, a lot of fake ones, supposedly, that are just purple aluminum or even have bad frequencies pumped into them. But yeah,
that would be awful.
One example of those.
Masaki, that did a video with SL and I, sent a crystal with a frequency thing, and he's going to come do a show with me to explain it better. But I ended up putting it in Cannon's room, and it's really helped with his sickness stuff.
Nice.
So he was telling me that we can change frequencies on it, but he's going to show me how to do it. Anyway, so I tell Uncle Cliff I miss seeing your face, but I'm really enjoying the Substack. So if you guys are not already subscribed to Uncle Cliff's newsletter, you can go to substack.com and look for Cliff High, Cliff with one F, High, and you'll find his Substack. And that is where he'll be sending his communication out, so you can stay up with what he has to tell the world. And then we talk about some other stuff.
He's active on very, very active on Telegram also.
Yes, sci-fi world.
Yeah,
on Telegram. And then we talk about some other stuff. I talked about the meteor shower that's happening now or this week, and that in my message from my friend that brings messages from spirit and sometimes from people that have passed over that you love. Mia had a message for me that was about stars shooting across the sky and my thoughts about what that could have been. And I said, if visible, my thoughts are it could be a celebration of, because then it turned into palm leaves. Well, if you look up the meaning of palm leaves, that means winning with integrity. And my gut is saying that we could have military action by Flag Day, if not before. Blah blah blah. Anyway, these are my thoughts. Then some of the things he shared that I don't feel like are just personal. These are things I think are safe that I think are for public, that I don't think I'm betraying a confidence or anything, or weren't personally just a message for me. But is that he won't be doing videos for a long time. And then that the banks will likely collapse this summer unexpectedly. So you guys know what that means. Just like in crypto, when we say not your keys, not your coins, don't keep your coins on an exchange. Also, don't keep your assets in a bank. That doesn't mean you can't use a bank, pay your bills, whatever, but just be smart about it. And be safe.
Right. Many people say it's very unwise to keep your wealth, your real savings in the bank. The bank is used for transactions. It's not used for holding your life savings, for example.
Right. Then he says RE market is already forecasting way bad stuff. And I don't know what the RE market is, if he means reevaluating or real estate market. I guess he's talking about real estate.
I would say real estate. Yeah.
Real estate market is already forecasting way bad stuff, which I would agree with that. That would make sense with what we're talking about.
Once these interest rates start to rise, there goes your house value.
For sure.
There's always that balance. High house value, low interest rates. Once the interest rates start to come up, the house values come right down. That's it is what it is. It's part of cycles, whether they're man-made or manipulated or not. There he is.
Here.
Welcome.
Good
Nancy
day, sir.
Iceman says today it's 33 days till Independence Day.
Interesting.
There were a couple of news items that I thought were interesting. I'm curious your thoughts on them, you guys. There was an official story that I talked about yesterday. I saw some rumors that Pelosi's husband got rearrested. We all saw that he was arrested for DUI last weekend, I guess, but he got rearrested for child pornography possession and crack cocaine more recently.
Wait, hold on, Lisa. Is this a legitimate website like the news? Is this real news, or is this
do you need a link?
Stuff? Well, no, I trust you. Whatever you say. I just want
What's
to know.
his
Is
name?
it like the mainstream talking about this?
What's his name? Got acquitted of everything yesterday too. Clinton.
Yeah.
Sussman.
Yeah.
But that's not the biggest part of that story. The biggest part of that story is that it proved that Hillary was guilty of all of it.
Yeah. Little by little. They didn't like Sean talking, so they kicked him off again.
Oh, come on. Oh, and now you got kicked off.
No, I blew my nose.
Oh,
I didn't want to do it on camera. I turned the camera off, and then I was about to blow it right in the microphone. I was like, no, I got to turn the microphone off. That would be hilarious. I just go dark and then
I
gotta shake the head.
Wrong button. Yeah, there's all kinds of wild stories breaking at the same time, and of course they're doing that because they want lots of distraction. But yeah, over on Memorial Day, or as Memorial Day trends, Pelosi's charged with possession of child porn. It's actually her husband.
well, that's Pelosi, isn't it?
Yeah.
Vancouver Times. Wow, I didn't see this one. Wow, you see this smile? This is a happy smile right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's so drunk she doesn't realize what's going on. So
is that even her anymore? I mean, come on, we don't even know. Maybe it is.
Who knows? I don't know.
I think she's one of the best examples of the ruling class.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of porn, so on Hunter's history in the laptop from where, he shared porn links with a
Pornhub
contact called Dad. Yeah, so, the family that shares together, stays together. I don't know. Very
They
odd.
definitely stay together.
Yeah.
There's an old story. It's I don't know if you've all ever heard, but it's a guy that was bad guy. He was a sleaze bucket. But he supposedly he came clean, told his story. He was he was Hunter's bodyguard kind of thing, like a fixer, a bodyguard. It's the best term for him.
Yeah.
But he told some stories about pedivores, about specifically hooker murders, that bodies he got rid of for Hunter. And he, did you ever read what he wrote?
I had never heard about that.
Oh yeah, this is years ago, before any of this, before you really knew about who this guy was. It was like because this was like his worst kid, and because this guy came out and he anonymously told his story. But yeah, it was crazy. It was all like it was all in the United States, but just lots of drug use. And this is before he was in trouble for drug use. So it was all, oh, that's crazy. The president's son would do drugs,
Right.
let alone murder. But it's like that was proven true of this guy's story, that he was like this, druggy party guy. Basically, there's photographic evidence, of him with like underage girls and just tons of, women of ill repute. So it's so fantastic and crazy what this guy had said that I just kind of
dismissed.
It's one of those things that, like, even if like 10% of it's true,
Yeah.
like even if 10% of the Clinton shit is real,
Yeah.
it's still the worst crimes ever.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, even if a little bit of this is true, it's like just unbelievably terrible. And this was like 5 or 6 years ago.
Wow.
That this guy came out. So to have all of basically that part of his story proven with photographic evidence, and now this person who you never heard about, you never knew who Hunter was or anything, all comes out now as kind of legitimizes a lot of what this guy had said. It makes me take a second thought, want to take another look at it. But you should look into it. And Glass FX, I don't know, because dementia and stuff like that is it's not really consistent. So I know that when Joe Biden, when the former vice president, we should really start calling him that or make a fake.
I love that. When you were doing that yesterday, I was right in line with that. The former vice president.
The former vice president, when he doesn't think people are listening or looking, a very different person. If you hear like audio recordings, he's a hardcore, tough, sharp dude. So whether it's an act or whether, dementia hits old people differently at different times, because my grandfather, towards the end, he was, and you could be talking to him and you think everything's fine, and then he's like, well, it was nice meeting you. And I'm like, Grandpa, it's me, John. And after you're talking to him for, an hour. So I don't know if he is really, or if it's an act, or if it's as bad.
Or if it's a movie.
Then you have to question, why would the Presidente of the United States be acting like this? I mean, that's crazy also. So either way,
well, if
it's crazy all around.
It's not though. If you're doing terrible stuff and you're able to to do it as a bumbling idiot, why would you not do that? That's one of the main reasons why nothing happened to Reagan. He's like, I don't know, I'm old now, man.
Yeah.
I'm old. I don't remember. I'm old. I'm breaking, man. And people were like, made fun of it and made jokes about it, but it helped him a lot.
Yeah, very good point. I didn't think of it like that.
So, and these people think, always are ahead, and it frustrates me because I look at stuff that they do. I'm like, this makes no sense. This is dumb. These people are morons. And then 5 years later, it's like, oh, damn, that was pretty smart. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
So, he might be looking at 2 years down the road or 5 years down the road when something finally comes out, and he can just, put it full on, where it's like, hey, it's not even the same guy. He doesn't know what day it is. I wouldn't put it past him to just literally crap on his pants on live TV in front of everyone if he thought it would get him out of any kind of trouble later on.
That's a really good point. I mean, they know the law. They know how to play the law, certainly, and that makes a lot of sense, man. Didn't think of it like that.
So, like with Johnny Depp, he didn't care about this trial. He didn't care about winning some money from her. He wanted to win public opinion.
Right. He knows he'll never collect $15 million from her.
But
it wasn't about that.
He could do that in half a movie.
Right. It wasn't about that.
But he wasn't going to get movies ever again. His life was done.
Right.
He needed to win public opinion and win his life back. And he did that like in the first 2 weeks.
By acting. Yeah.
Yeah, he won. He won in the trial. Like putting it out there, everyone's seeing him. And now he's signed on for Beetlejuice 2. He won. He got everything that he wanted from that. And it had nothing to do with the actual trial itself.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. It's public opinion. It's there's a lot of people saying almost making the whole men's movement on how a lot of women are acting these days, and the toxic femininity whole thing has been brought up. If you said that, a year ago, you were like, you were absolutely insane. But
and to believe all women, that's dead. That's finished. That's done.
Yep.
But a lot of the craziness is coming, full circle, and it took way longer than it should have.
I agree with you. My husband and I were talking about this last night. I was like, but here we are. Like, I was like, okay, but we think like, oh, we have to be so close and this has to end so quickly. But like we thought this stuff was going to be over. And here we are 2 years and like we thought no one would ever put a mask on, and here we are 2 years later. You know what I mean? So
because people have lost common sense. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's why, because like when the Leah Thompson stuff happened, or just women's sports in general, it's like, oh, this is going to do it. This is when common sense will come into play. People like, oh, this is a 350-pound man who wants to now compete against this 192-pound woman in powerlifting. Now they're going to get it. And they're like, no. Yeah. It's like, what? And it took a long time. And all the institutions, they still never bowed down. It was the athletes and regular people who were pissed.
Yeah.
And who fought about it.
Just signed, our governor just signed a law saying that in Oklahoma, you have to use the public restroom that is the same gender that is on your birth certificate.
Think about how dumb that is.
That is the dumbest statement. Yeah, it's like remember the laws when you first started doing videos with me and you were like, you can get in trouble for farting on a police officer or whatever.
Yeah, in my town, yeah.
Yeah, it's like that dumb of a law. It's like, this should not, why is this a law? But that's where we are, folks.
And those laws are passed when people challenge the system with stupidity. Like it's against the law to ride on the roof of a taxi in my town, because I'm not 100% sure because but it specifies a taxi. I think because it's against the law to ride on the hood of a car, but maybe because a taxi is a transport vehicle or something, maybe there were some loopholes, so somebody pushed it, and
they didn't have enough seats inside, so they were like, "Well, I'll just ride on the roof."
Well, it's America. I mean, other countries, they pile like 9 people on a moped.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen those trains in India? They're literally hanging off 3 wide on the top, packed to the gills on the roof. One guy's holding like in the front, like the wheels are like right under him. He's just hanging on there, like, smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine how bad it has to smell?
No, I heard a story a while ago.
90 degrees, 95 degrees, packed, all those people.
Even
talk about fart laws. Plus, they all eat. You know what they all eat?
Curry.
Indian food.
Yeah.
So those farts have to be bad.
Oh my goodness.
I'm surprised you're getting away with a lot of potty humor today. Well done, Sean.
I'm letting him get away with it. He gets past.
The woman.
These
are questions that I never thought we would ask.
Yeah. So this documentary is on tonight, and I cannot wait for everybody to watch it. They're live in 4 hours. This was just about half an hour ago. And they interview people. Are they how can you become one?
Yeah.
Can anyone become one? And they ask like these insane questions and just get people to like have to say it out loud.
That's the common sense thing I was talking about. Like when that woman was up for Supreme Court and she said, "I'm not a biologist. I don't know how to define a woman." That's the end of the conversation. They should have asked her to leave. They should say, "Okay, fine. There's no point in us going on and wasting any time or money because you're going to be ruling on women's issues, on laws that affect women. If you can't and you don't know what that is,
right,
then there's no point in you going on to the Supreme Court." And not one person said that. Not one person that was, that was for a confirmation, just said the common sense, "Oh, that's really important for the job. I'm sorry." I mean, there's certain things that you can't do. It's certain jobs that you have to discriminate against, period.
That's like literally admitting you don't know the law well enough to be judging or ruling on the law. That's insane. It's right in our faces, man. It's literally right in our faces.
Well, it's like saying, "Oh, wait, we want you to be a judge, but you're too judgy."
But I don't know any laws. Oh, you can do it anyway. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark Dice does a lot of those man on the street videos, and they're just fantastic. These things that people say,
he's great.
It's fantastic, is what it's.
It's like being a chef and not having no sense of taste or smell.
Is that salt or sugar? I don't know.
Yeah, literally, you don't know. There's no way. I mean, you could follow directions, but you can't be. You could cook food, but you can't be a chef. You're limited. And if you can't define what a woman is, I mean, you can have plenty of jobs. You could have a nice life, but you can't be a Supreme Court justice. You can't. And also, I think that opens up stuff down the road. If there's a ruling, I think that could be challenged. If there's a ruling that passes by a slim margin, someone could argue she said she doesn't know what a woman is. How is she able to weigh in on this issue? She should have to recuse herself of anything that has to do with women.
That's a great point.
From now on. And that's the common sense. As soon as she said that, I'm like, oh, she can't. There's no way. If she was stupid enough to be woke and say that when she's trying to get, approved by Congress for the job,
and you can't say you care about women's issues because you don't know what a woman is.
Yeah, it's literally the same thing as saying, I want to, make white supremacists, rule America. I want to enslave a certain population. It's the same thing. It's like, I don't know what this is. Half of the human species. I don't know what they are. I don't know.
But does that mean she does know what a man is?
No, she's not a biologist. Well, that's also common sense. Common sense would say no, because she's not a biologist. But then she can be, I know what a man is. Yeah, of course, that's easy. It's the women, they're slippery. I don't know. Got to be biologists for a woman. Men are simple.
Insanity of the whole thing is crazy, but that's just so crazy to me.
I don't even know what to say. That's great.
Daddy-O brings. That's something I thought of. Daddy-O brought up. Interrupting you, but
no. Go ahead. I'll go back and find it.
If this is ever deemed to be what we all think it is, the election, what does it do for everything that's happened? Because there's no authority. No one. He really didn't have the authority to do what was done.
Right.
So any kind of action, any kind of because like if it was Trump, they would be like, oh well, Jerusalem isn't the head of Israel or whatever. Anything he did, they would say automatically is not done. It never had the authority to be done.
Right.
So if this was deemed
that case, yes,
yeah, that would change the whole world.
Right.
It's also a kind of an argument that we're too involved.
Well, okay, so I heard what was his name? Moss. So I heard an interview with somebody on Fox, and he was brilliant. He's running for senator. He is a senator. Darn it. And he ripped this correspondent on Fox. And he was like, no, I'm not going to let you make those statements. I'm not going to let you use that canned retort of it's been debunked. It's been debunked. He goes, because it hasn't. He said the thing was that it went through courts, and the reason they couldn't make a ruling on it is because it wasn't appropriate for them to make a ruling on it, because anything to do with that situation is supposed to be handled in Congress. And he said, but because it wasn't handled in Congress and it went through and got to the point of the certification, then because whether it was legit or not, because the fact it was certified, that made it go forward, but it made all those that certified complicit. I'm trying to choose my words carefully. And so he was explaining the legality, which I've never heard it explained this way. And he said, so if it were to, at some point in history, be found to be another way, it would still be valid. It's just that all those people would be a party to that and be complicit in that.
But are they complicit if they didn't know?
I don't know. That would be for Congress to decide, I guess.
We've all heard there's no excuse for ignorance of the law, right? I mean,
well, then there you go.
Play it one way. That's a good point.
It was pretty clear, like how he was saying it. I was just like, wow. I mean, that moves the ball forward. I'll have to try to find, well, I'm sure they'll have deleted it. It was, I was listening on the radio driving home. And man, he just laid it out. And I went and followed him immediately on Twitter. I was like, way to go. It was incredible. If I can find it, I'll find it.
They found, did I send you the thing about Ezra?
Not the latest.
They found out what's wrong.
Yes, that he has. Go ahead and. So would you want to give everybody, I just said there's a family that is in need, that people might want to be able to help, and that we would have but I haven't told the story yet. And I didn't know if I was allowed to share pictures or anything.
Yeah, you can share pictures.
Okay. So there's a sweet baby that is in Sean's family.
Yeah, my great nephew, Ezra. He's got. So I have. It's actually. She's not my blood niece. It's my ex-wife's cousin's daughter, which is like so. My ex-wife and a cousin, they hate each other now. Well, everyone
Doesn't
hates.
matter. We
Everyone
like
hates
the
baby.
baby.
We're close, and I also believe if you get divorced, you don't divorce family. Like these kids. I've always been Uncle Sean, and for 10 years, 15 years, or whatever. When they like, hey, Uncle Sean, you come to my graduation. It's like, oh no, my wife cheated on me, so now I don't have anything to do with you. You're not going to do that. So, Autumn is my niece, and there's a lot of me when it comes to that kid. She's uh, very sarcastic, very plus her mom's a firecracker, so she's a hilarious girl. Um, One of my favorite people, but she is a great mother, um, and she has two sons, Toby and Ezra. Toby is one of the most difficult children you'll ever meet. He is just
He's also like his Uncle Sean.
no, he's rough, man.
I'm just
He
teasing.
is loud. He is like terrible twos, just like all the time. Then Ezra, the chillest,
baby.
calmest baby there is, and they're all giant. Like he's one, and you'd swear he was like 4. But Ezra had a heart attack last week. She's 1, so it was weird. But Autumn came home, and her fiance's like running out of the house with Ezra. He's not breathing, and they airlifted him to the children's hospital in Temple. And they brought him, back. They had to like shock him, with like little baby paddles to bring him to back. But they had no clue why this 1-year-old would have a heart attack. Uh, and they had him on a ventilator. So they no, I asked about the what? I asked about the vax thing. Autumn is, but not the baby. And they took him off the vent, and he would be okay. And then he even ate some applesauce, and then stopped breathing again. So they had to put him back on the vent, which is really rough on his throat and everything because he's a baby.
Yeah.
She is just frazzled. I think she's probably lost 10, 20 pounds in the past week.
And I just updated the details for the video, so you can go to the description if you want to copy and paste the Litecoin address for Autumn, because when you're a family staying in the hospital, when you've got your kiddo there, I mean, they've had to take off work. They're having extra expenses. You're eating out nonstop. You've got parking that you weren't expecting. There's all kinds of extra expenses when you have a child in the hospital, not to mention the medical bills.
Well, she's like, I'm a bad mother. I'm a terrible mother. And then she like,
bless her
this
heart.
is going to take my kids away. I'm like,
what?
Why? No. All these worries she had at first.
She's just worrying.
And then, because she was at the grocery store or something. She wasn't like out partying. But, and then they take him off the vent. He eats some applesauce. He's doing much better. She falls asleep for 2 hours and then wakes up, and they had stopped breathing. They hooked him back up. So she like can't sleep now, like for days. She just can't sleep because she thinks as soon as she sleeps that something will happen. So I mean, I'm seeing pictures of her, and she looks so bad. But they're doing all these tests, and everything comes back. I don't know. And now they think he might be epileptic. And he has a spinal meningitis, a viral infection, spinal meningitis, which there's nothing they can really do because it's a virus. So he has to like get through it. And they're giving him different anti-seizure medications
Acyclovir. They can put him on acyclovir, which is an antiviral. We had to do that with Mia, but I mean, it's still, you still have to
I don't
get
know
through
what they
it.
could do with a 1-year-old. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
At that age.
but it's one of the one of the best like children's hospitals there is in the country. So we have really good hospitals where I'm at, like really
That's
good
awesome. Yeah.
But he's in the hospital, which is because he stopped breathing like 3 times. If he wasn't there, he would have died. But they're they had someone set up a GoFundMe for them, and
do we have that too?
I could. It's on her Facebook profile, but she first it's GoFundMe. They take a portion, and then she told me that it takes like a week, and they're like you said taking off work, and they're like 20-some-year-old kids. They're beyond paycheck to paycheck. In fact, her fiance wasn't working. I just got him a job at a friend of mine's plumbing company. He's going to be a plumber, but he's only been working there for like a month. They just got an apartment like last month. Everything's just starting out, so they're
bless their
super
hearts,
strapped,
just trying to get their head above water. Yeah.
Are you friends with her on Facebook?
I don't think so.
You should. She's well.
I mean, I'm terrible at Facebook. I'm like never on Facebook just because.
No, you're not.
I violate my normie friends' reality on Facebook. I love my normie friends on Facebook very much, but sometimes I say things that.
Also, it's so rough to see all these pictures of him. Man, here we go. I got the GoFundMe.
Well, you can connect the two of us or help me find her information because I'd love to reach out to her if I can be a support to her or if she wants to talk to another mama of a medical kiddo. Because I would be happy to.
Here, I'm sending the link on Twitter.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Thank you.
But since they found out now, it's a lot better because it's not great, but we know what it is, and he might have long-term stuff because he might be epileptic, so that's just something I thought to deal with. But
well, thank you for giving us an opportunity. I mean, just when we think things are rough and we're scared and thinking about food and the economy crashing and all this, like there are families that are suffering with, this kind of immediate need, hard stuff. And so I think those are things that we can all jump in and help with whatever we can, And if you've got Litecoin, like Sean said, nobody's taking anything out of the Litecoin. That goes directly to the family. So if you're able to give that way, that is probably the most helpful way.
And that's her crypto.com card I got her. And awesome. I give her money on that, every now and then. That's why I have her Litecoin address because that's what I send her.
That's sweet.
Because everything else is so ridiculously expensive. And I think this is her Bitcoin address. I asked her.
Okay. Are you sending it on Twitter?
She's not. Well? Yeah, and I told her with the the GoFundMe stuff. I was like, that's why I use crypto. And she was like, yeah, so many of my friends and stuff that don't understand it or know about crypto. So,
this is a great time to teach
best.
them.
But if you have Bitcoin, anything you can do to help would be really nice, and I appreciate it. They would appreciate it a lot.
I'll put all of it in here in the description for her. Let's see.
Man, it's just that is not easy. That is not easy to see, to deal with, to have to live with. I mean,
no, and she's so hard on herself.
Understandably. I mean, you're a parent,
is a helpless
feeling.
Yeah, as a parent, it's a really helpless feeling.
And that's that she uses that word a lot, helpless, because she can just sit there. She's telling me there's nothing I can do, and I can't. He's crying, he's hurt, and I can't I can't do anything. It's like it's really weighing in on her.
Yeah. We know that we can all also be, financially is one way you can support, but we can all also, we understand about frequency and energy and prayer, whatever you call it. And we know
intention.
that when there's, intention, light, love, sending love to each other. And we know that when one or more are gathered, and here we are as a community, and we know how strong we all are. So if we can all focus on sending baby Ezra and his mom Autumn and their whole family some love together at the same time, when we're all here together thinking about them, and know that, God has a plan for this baby and this family, and we're here to support that and be part of that as a community. And
she said she made a pay string on crypto.com. That's cool. She's
what
smart.
What does that mean?
If you can go to paystring.crypto.com. It's oh.itsautumn $paystring.crypto.com, and you can put that in on crypto.com and it goes right there. It's creating like a domain, which is
okay.
Do that in like
Tell me again, crypto.com, and then I go,
I sent it to you.
Oh, thank goodness. Oh, thank goodness.
That's cool.
Wow.
But I appreciate y'all.
Where'd you send it to me?
In
private chat?
Twitter.
Oh, it just hasn't come through yet. I just see bubbles.
But do you? I'm not doing anything.
I just see bubbles.
What the crap?
Tiny bubbles.
There's weird stuff on our message now.
So Twitter has been logging me off of my Twitter all day and putting me on my, there it is, on my, putting me onto, so my avatar on Twitter is the same as the one for the channel. And it has been logging me off and logging me back on as just the channel. So I'm tweeting away, but I'm like, wait a minute, I already liked and retweeted that article. And then I go over to profile and I'm logged in as the new normal. And I'm like, So then I log out again and I go back over to myself. It keeps kicking me out so that I'm not tweeting as myself. I don't know what's going on. But very annoying.
Jason, did you see my new revolver?
I have not. What do you got?
Oh man, it's so ridiculous.
I love it. What'd you get? Oh, it's heavy. It sounds heavy. He's like funk.
Okay.
So thank you guys all to who will and did give. Yeah, look at that thing. Lord.
Oh my.
Yes, it's hilarious.
I never, sir. Well, I never.
Yes, it's
What is that? Is that a 44?
No, and that's another thing. The cylinder is interchangeable. It's a 22 long rifle, and another cylinder is 22 Magnum.
Oh wow!
Which, see, you can just pop this other one in there.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. It's like a caricature of a gun.
Yes.
It's like this over-exaggerated thing. Holy cow!
It's like an over-exaggerated. It's you ever seen Johnny Dangerously?
Yes.
You remember Joe Piscopo?
Mm-hmm.
He had the giant gun like that. He goes, this thing, it shoots through schools. I got that. I got an AR for $399, brand new.
Wow! The market is dipping everywhere. Holy cow!
Well, that's the thing. I just a lot of these things I just put the low bid on. I got a 410 single shot for $70.
Oh my god!
That's the big brag. He's been talking about that one for a while.
That's cheap.
I got this giant. My kids can't hear me. It is an annoying gun, but it's like a M16, but it's a shotgun. So
street sweeper.
An AR-12. but it's so fucking huge. It is. And my son Ted hates it. He goes, "These are so stupid. They're just dumb." I was like, "They just look cool." Then I got this bullpup. It's like a space gun. It's really cool. 12 gauge. A little cricket pink camo one. There's some one
Westwood would like that.
That's what he's saving that for special occasions. Yeah.
That's really cool, man. I used to do similar, but in Jersey, you got to do this whole process. But yeah, whenever I would go, and you're allowed to get 3 at a time. So I had to apply for my permits, wait 3 handguns at a time. So I have to go apply for the permits, wait a few months, get them.
Yeah, you have to have permits, and you have to get a permit for each gun or something. I remember my grandfather.
Yep. Handguns, long guns. You need. You just need your firearms ID card, and you could go buy. But still, I haven't.
Firearms ID card. It's like a made up thing.
Yeah.
You need your snuffleupagus, and then you can get that.
It's crazy, but I am jealous, man. That's really cool.
What'd you guys think about the Facebook COO stepping down? What's her name?
I'm happy about it. I don't know, but I'm happy about it.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of it.
Yeah, that's another one that I think they took down off.
What do y'all know about the Texas, the law that was it was a big social media thing, and then the Supreme Court just and the mainstream media is really saying they're portraying it like the law was struck down, but it's not. They just they put a hold on it while it's being heard out in a lower court. I
have to know more specifically what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
Is it like the Section 230 stuff? Is it what they're suing Zuckerberg about? The Attorney General suing Zuckerberg or whatever?
Texas? No, Texas passed a law. I was watching it last night, and then I stayed up all night playing Skyrim. By the way, I'm playing Skyrim again.
It happens.
I'm doing it backwards.
There's a lot of things happening with social media. So like this morning, Instagram and Meta are going to start posting missing children on their front pages of
But see, that's such a common
why
sense.
weren't they doing this years ago?
Well, you know what? I was watching.
Because nobody made them.
I was watching Crowder. And so this kid who did the shooting in Uvalde, he posted on Facebook, Instagram, other place, like, yes, "I'm going to shoot my grandmother." And then he did. And then he posted, "I shot my grandmother." And then he posted, "I'm going to go shoot up the school."
What?
And he posted it. And then he went and did that. But there's all these algorithms that we know about. We have to watch what we say. We have to talk in code. And if you use a thumbnail with a gun, it gets flagged with YouTube. So how come none of the algorithms pick up this stuff when he literally posted that?
There's a story that says that the FBI was fully aware, was in a chat room with that kid, and that they knew hours before that he was planning to do it, that he knew about it. And now, of course, it's not on my feed.
Here we go. Supreme Court blocks. I'll just send you this page and y'all can look at it. It's in the private chat.
Okay, hold on. I'll pull it up.
Joanna makes a good point in the chat there. What if it wasn't him posting?
Great point.
See, all of these CNN, Yahoo Finance, New York Times, every single story here you can see Texas social media law blocked. Supreme Court blocks Texas law on social media. Censorship. Supreme Court blocks. Supreme Court block. They didn't. They just put it on hold while it's being while the case is being heard.
Misinformation.
It is bizarro world.
But that's really all people are going to read is the headline.
That's all anybody reads, or 90%.
So then, you just keep going and they move on from there.
I do like that feature about Facebook. If you go to share something, you'll get a pop-up that says, hey, you're about to share this and you didn't read the article.
Do you want to read it first?
It's like, do you want to read the article first? Or you'll go to post something and it'll be like, hey, you're about to post this news article from 2 years ago. It's 2 years old. You're like, oh, it is 2 years old. Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Because people don't.
Here's a smaller magazine. Sometimes in a smaller thing, you get a little more truth.
To prohibit social media companies from banning users based on their viewpoints.
Well, it's a little late because ain't seen me in a while on any of them. I didn't even post anything. That's the messed up part.
Yeah, are you coming back on Twitter?
I would love to at some point, but they haven't invited me back yet. I'm waiting for a personal invite from Mr. Musk and friends. I never even got a response from that. I don't know if I ever told you. I just disappeared one day. Never had any. I was never reprimanded. I never had any strikes or whatever you want to call it. All of a sudden, it was just disappeared. Wouldn't even give me an explanation.
Autumn said she just received a deposit request, so that's cool.
Oh, thank you. U.S. Supreme Court.
Thank you to whoever did that.
Block Texas law prohibiting large social media companies from banning or removing users. So, in the light of this kind of thing, did you guys see where some of the Canadian banks are already issuing apologies for locking down people's bank accounts over the Canadian trucker thing?
No.
They're already issuing apologies. So will these be next? Will Facebook because that's the lawsuit that Zuckerberg is he's being sued for sharing people's data though, right?
I've said this for a while now that the government seems to have figured out it's a lot easier, and they can get everything they want to do done by just doing it and then apologizing later.
Yeah.
There's also an article that came out today that said that JP Morgan Chase, it came out that they have been spying on all their employees when they're at work, with all their big data.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Morgan.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's that old saying: it's easier to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission. Yeah.
Yeah, and they've got like the thing with the vaccine mandates that came out, and it takes like a month or 2 months to go through the court system, but within a month or 2 months, you're either lost your job or you got stuck.
Yeah.
So it's even if you hit 80%, which they did, I think they got like 80%. Then when they say, "Oh, you can't do that," okay, we already did it 80%, but okay, cool.
Sorry, we'll take it back now.
Yeah, you're right. We shouldn't have done that. Man, sorry about that.
Well, that's the America process, right? We got to have a process for everything. That's crazy. 110 people watching. Thank you, everybody. Shout out to the chat.
Awesome. I don't know. I think things need to get really bad. I think things are going to get really bad. But and in talking about stepping back, if you've looked at like the California stuff, there's I saw this one. There's like 4 people walking to a store, and this woman's filming it on her phone, and she's like, "I came in here to get some concealer, and look at this." And these people they have a trash bag, and they're just stealing cologne, and other stuff. But because you can only steal like under $1,500, and a lot of them have a calculator, and they'll bring it to like $1,450, and then leave. But now, if you're going in there with 4 or 5 people, you each have a trash bag. They each have $1,500, $1,450, and they're just walking out. And there's no fear. There's no rush. They're shopping, and the clerks don't do anything.
Yeah, they know. They've been told not to.
Yeah, it's against the law to the
police won't do anything because it's not important to them, so they don't go do it. They don't, go respond to it. It is in a mall, but that's we look at the big plan. That's one of the biggest reasons for huge corporations. If you go into a convenience store where, it's Abdul's convenience store or Frank's or Wong's or whoever, that's their business. That's how they pay their bills and take care of their family. If you start stealing their stuff, they're going to stop you.
Yeah.
If you go into a 7-Eleven, they have protocols. They have employees who don't give a crap whether you steal their stuff. They don't have any skin in the game. So to get rid of as many mom and pops as you can, to where everything is nobody cares about the store, no one cares about the business.
Mm-hmm.
It allows stuff like this to go on.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to stand up. I don't, for.
Yeah. Who cares? Yeah.
Yeah. It's not my business. It's not even my friend's business. It's a faceless corporation. So it allows for so many of these things to happen. And these things couldn't have happened before. These things couldn't have happened even just with people taking pride in where they work. But everybody.
Here's the other thing that they're doing. In New York, they were doing the no bail thing and letting them out.
Mm-hmm.
So people, they weren't incentivized. Like, why would you try to stop them? First, they're being told by their employers, don't do it because their insurance doesn't want the liability of an employee getting injured. Mm-hmm. So, they're letting them go. They figured out what's the magic dollar amount? How much should we let them steal to, make it not, we're not going to jail them for that or whatever. So then the people come in.
Well, the dollar amount is based on the crime. Because if you steal under a certain amount, then it's not a felony.
Then it's not a felony. Okay, that's where they're coming from.
Misdemeanor, yeah.
Well, now they're changing laws. They're releasing Hinckley now. You used to be locked up for life for shooting at or attempting to assassinate a president, but they're releasing Hinckley, unconditional release.
This is what I'm talking about. Now, here. Follow me on this.
Okay.
Everything is designed to pit us against them. To pit people against people, where what it needs to be is literally us versus them, and it's not that way. So what's going to happen is eventually, I think personally, and it all clicked when you showed that you posted that video of it was Malaysia or somewhere where they're hanging their politicians.
Sri Lanka and Italy.
Yeah, they're fighting the police. They're super violent. I think we're going to have super violence in the United States, but it's going to be people versus people. It's going to be white versus black. It's going to be, and basically. So what I think is going to happen is those people in California and in New York, everywhere, they're going to be so fed up that someone's going to come in with their calculator and their trash bag, and then someone's going to shoot them. And then those people with trash bags, they're criminals. They're going to start coming in with their own guns. And that's when we're going to start seeing this violence in America. But it's going to be people fighting people. And it's going to be bloody. And people are angry. But we're angry at each other. We're angry. And right, we should be angry at the criminal. We should be angry at that person who's, stealing from hardworking people and do it. But they were made. They were engineered by those politicians who created the law. They were engineered by the police system, who is an arm of the government. When someone comes for your guns, when someone comes to take you away, when someone comes for that's the police. Those are the ones who come. Now, there's going to be a time, personally, I think, and I've gotten into it with my police friends, and I want to say every single friend of mine that's a cop is one of the best people that I know, all of them. And it's hard for me to say this when all of my friends are a certain way, but I'm like, you guys are going to have to make a stand. You guys are going to have to make a choice, and they're the first ones that are going to have to make the choice. And in New Jersey, they suck, man.
Yeah, they do. I got history with that.
The red flag laws that have come up, and now they're talking red flag laws all over the United States now. Where
we saw what happened in Canada yesterday. Was it yesterday or day before?
If you're on depression medication, which also that's another thing, everyone's on depression medication. But if you step back, man, and you look at 20 years ago and 10 years ago, when everyone is depressed and everyone gets on depression medication, and now 10, 20 years later, anyone that's on this drug, or this drug can't buy a firearm. That's part of the red flag law. Now you've just disarmed such a huge part of the population, and also you stopped people that probably need help from going and seeking help because they don't want to be labeled as that and put on a list. It all comes together, when you look at.
Well, then you end up that with that situation that you have, like the Uvalde shooter. He is probably more likely. It's less shameful to be a drug addict in this country than it is to say you have a problem with mental illness and to go get help. And that's the bigger problem that we're really not talking about. That's one thing with the whole shooting thing. Everybody keeps talking about the guns and how to stop the guns. And it's like, that's not what killed those children. A gun did not kill those children.
Mm-hmm.
A crazed, evil, mentally ill person, however that came about, killed those children. That's what killed those children. That's the issue. Not a gun.
And also,
to those with common sense,
if you
those who don't think for themselves,
people,
guns do it.
If you arm more people, and I've seen so many memes and things. My ex-wife, she her half husband, whatever, they're married, but they each have boyfriends and girlfriends. So, but her husband posted on her page. It's a bunch of kids, and they're all sitting on the floor in class. And the teacher's on the floor, and they're all, scared. They have like desks and stuff in front of the door. And it says on the chalkboard, today's lesson, the Second Amendment. And he's talking about how, bad the Second Amendment is because school shootings and all that. And I said, I don't know what it's like to grow up in this era. When I was a kid, we had guns at school because the parking lot had pickup trucks with guns in the window. Everyone had gun racks in their truck. So,
because they went hunting after school or before school,
it just what it was part of the.
It was just normal.
It's just the way it was. But if I was a child, and these teachers who are supposed to be there to make me feel safe, and I'm supposed to feel safe in school with these adults, if they're doing nothing but telling me to be scared, telling me people are going to kill me, telling me we're going to hide, telling me we're going to, run, telling me how we're going to try to run away, versus if a teacher said, hey, if someone comes here, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to stop him. Me, Mr. Johnson across the hall, Mrs. Smith, 2 doors down. We're all the armed teachers. They're all going to come here, and we're going to defend you. No one's going to hurt you. No one is going to hurt you. Can you imagine how much better children would feel growing up? That's the thing. They don't feel safe. They're constantly being told, you're not safe, you're not safe, you're not safe. And there's a difference between awareness and being prepared versus just trying to terrify a kid. And I think we need to worry about and focus on keeping kids safe and not in scaring them so much. I think it's part of the job. And the president has come out and said, we will not harden schools. And I think that is the biggest, we talked about this the other day, Lisa, that making certain, if you make targets a soft target, those are the ones that criminals will go after. It's just common sense. We talked about you could steal up to $1,500 and not get arrested. So everybody goes out and steals $1,400 worth of stuff with a grocery bag. They're
gave them the plan.
Yeah, you've given. So
you made them a list, which he made another list. Right when he got elected, what was the other list of what what targets to hit for the US. Oh gosh, because I remember thinking, why in the hell did he just tell him like exactly what targets to hit? Or when he didn't get elected. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm trying to find that.
How many billions went to Ukraine so far? We could use a couple of that to make these schools nice and safe.
Yeah,
and
no, you got to get
end all the issues with that.
Guns in the hands of citizens in order to make the country safe. So they need it, because if you put guns in the hands of the citizens, then they can defend their. Wait a minute.
What are you waiting a minute on?
So if we put guns in the hands of the citizens, then they can defend themselves from aggressors.
Yeah,
and that's what we're doing. That works.
Well, Sean, I just read on the interwebs that they're debunking the whole good guy with a gun thing now. I read it, so it's got to be true, right?
No. What they need to do is they need to ban the guns over in Ukraine. That'll do it.
That would stop the war instantly, right?
If you take them away, we shouldn't be sending them money and sending them arms. That's just silly.
Sean, isn't there places, towns in Texas? I remember reading this a while back where they basically mandate every house has to have a gun, and crime went to like zero really fast.
There is places, and they weren't in Texas, where they gave a gun to everyone. Okay. But you can't make anyone do anything. That's
right. And crime disappeared afterwards.
It disappeared. And that's, I had said that the other day, that there's such a deterrent. Like if you were a psychopath, and that's the thing, these people are nuts. They are mentally ill, they're crazy, whatever words you're not supposed to use, they are that. But they're not dumb. Because if they were dumb, they just walk into the police station and be like, and that they wouldn't happen. So if they knew that there's 5 teachers that are armed,
right,
and a janitor's armed and a vice principal, versus the other school, no one's armed, they're going to go to where the soft target is. So I think that's even lying, even saying that all teachers are automatically, once they pass like a test, they're able to conceal carry, not saying who they are, but just knowing that teachers could. That's such a deterrent. It's like if you put a sign in your yard that says you have a security system, just the sign makes crime drop dramatically. They've done studies on that. You don't have to have a security system to stop a thief. Just the sign, the thief will move on.
Move on to the next easier target. Yep.
Yeah, that's ancient logic. That's from like when I was a kid. You literally could just get the sign. It's the same thing. If they just would allow that, it would be such a huge deterrent. I think it would drop, because it didn't used to be. Remember, it used to be post office and restaurants when it all started. I'm the first.
Yeah, going postal was the.
Yeah, the first big mass shooting was was like 5-10 miles away.
One of them was here in Edmond at our post office, and there's a big memorial for it because one of the guys came in. He's former military.
And that was workplace violence. That was the thing. But the first was McDonald's was first, and then Luby's. Luby's was the big one in Coney.
Oh yeah. And I remember that.
Because they were soft. All targets were soft targets back then. But there was a chiropractor that was at Luby's. She got shot, and then she was like, everyone should have had a gun. It was like common sense. And she started the whole concealed carry movement. She became a senator in Texas. She drafted the bill. She got everything passed. But it was all because of that. And it was common sense. A dude crashed his truck into the doors. He got out, just started shooting people like, fish in a barrel. And no one had a gun. Because it wasn't like a thing back then. People didn't really carry. And she, I think it may have actually been illegal. So she came out. That was like her big crusade.
Well, because you could only open carry, constitutionally, I think,
It's a
at the
shotgun.
time.
Yeah,
Is that right?
It was only long guns that you could carry.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and nobody did that. I remember because I used to, when I worked at Domino's when I was a kid, I would have to make the deposit like at 2 a.m. and I'd have like, 10 grand. And we used to call the police and they would just follow me. And because I used to go out of the store, and go to the back of where my car was parked in the dark alley behind the store, and then get in and go drop it at the bank, drop off. And then the police it's $200 for us to, follow you now. So we're like, pff. And the police said, just take a shotgun. It's like, you can walk downtown with a shotgun. It's legal, just carry a shotgun. And I'm like, no, we're not allowed to do that. At Domino's, we can't.
It's against company policy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it's always, long guns have always been, legal to walk around with. But I didn't know that until they told me that. I'm like, you're telling me to walk around town with a gun? And they're like, yeah. But the way of thinking, and I talked to you about this. Our government used to only be concerned with protecting us and protecting our rights. That was like the main thing. Because when the former vice president said that, these, when the Second Amendment was written, it was for muskets. It wasn't for these are weapons of war. ARs and 9 first off, they talk. It's ridiculous how stupid they are. Those 9 millimeters in AR, the weapons of war. And what was a weapon of war when the Second Amendment was passed? A musket.
A musket. One shot. Was it 2 shots a minute if you're lucky?
That was a musket. It was a 1 shot. It was a Minuteman, and that was only
a knife, a bayonet.
Those were weapons of war,
and
that's what it was protected.
Yeah.
And then he said, you couldn't get a cannon. And not only could you get a cannon, the government would give you one.
Mm-hmm.
Because they looked at it as, wait, you want to defend your town? We don't have to pay for that. We don't have to hire people. We don't have to send in militia. You're saving us money. Here's a cannon. Thank you, sir. Thank you. We appreciate that. Because that's how the government was set up. That's the way of thinking.
That goes to the mindset of, well, who are you fighting against? Because then the government in that situation is like, well, you're on our side.
Yeah.
And you're fighting against invaders. And now the government is saying,
we don't want to educate you. And we don't want to educate you enough to overthrow us. We don't want to educate you enough to where you know how you could defeat us.
Or defend yourself against us.
We want you to be able to arm yourself to defend yourself against us.
Right.
It's completely flipped, the whole way of thinking.
That's why.
And people are afraid to say that. Mm-hmm. People are afraid to say, what do you need all those bullets for? What do you need that weapon for? Those are just designed to kill a person. And yeah, it's to kill you. I wish someone would go to the president and say, yeah, it's designed to kill you.
In case
if you come for me, it's written right here. And there was a congressman who brought this up because it was a speech law, and he's like, if this passes, this could make parts of the Constitution illegal. And then he read, certain things about that, about that it's our duty to install a new government, to tear down all that, and then it was that troll looking dude. I always forget his name, but he was like, "Are you talking about shooting American soldiers?" And the guy was like, "Are you not hearing what I'm saying? That's what this says. Are you talking about taking arms against us, against the government?" And he's like, "Why are you not understanding what I'm saying? That's literally what this says."
If
and
the government's coming for me.
This could make it illegal for our own Constitution. And this guy was like so inept that he didn't get it. And it is, you could get in trouble for stating the Constitution for what these are designed. These are weapons of war. They're designed to kill soldiers. And yeah. Look at Ukraine. Literally, look at Ukraine. But it's interesting how, now it's important to get the guns in the hands of everybody.
Well, the cycle seems to go guns, abortion, gay rights, guns, abortion, gay rights. So we're on the guns part now. Abortion was just last, and
I saw a meme. It was like, "Hey, if you ban abortions, people are just gonna, do them illegally. But if you, ban all the guns, we'll be safe."
Okay. Yeah, if you ban abortions, people go have illegal abortions. If you ban guns,
everything's good. Yeah. Well, if they could ban guns and everything would be good, they would just ban guns in Ukraine. At the border, like, hey, you guys can't have those here. No, sorry.
Oh, sorry, sir. Here you go. This one.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
That's rough.
That's true.
Just saying.
That is rough.
Wow. There's a whole history to that. That's not appropriate to talk about at the moment, but that organization which side of the aisle had a funding and helped start that organization. What was the purpose of it? The purpose was to take out, minorities and stupid people. Yeah.
That's the thing. People don't want to say what the truth is. That was started to kill black babies, to curb their population. And do you know who started it?
The head of the KKK's
no
daughter or something like that.
Bill Gates's dad.
Oh, okay.
Oh man,
I think I have heard that.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know what Bill Gates's dad said? White people overall, we've got to. And Bill Gates is the same. He's a eugenicist. Him, Epstein, all of them. They're eugenicists, and nobody cares. Gates has polio vaccine, kills thousands and thousands of brown kids in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were just talking about that one.
We were just talking about it.
There's no polio in Africa. They go in there with their campaigns, and all of a sudden there's these massive outbreaks of polio. It's
crazy.
Zika virus, crazy. Similar situation going on with that.
I do think it's interesting, this Elon Musk and Bill Gates feud that's going on.
Bread and circus? I don't know.
No, he's like calling him out.
No, he's calling. Yeah,
he's calling him out on
he's
stuff.
Trying to get people to see it, but.
Right, but now my mind is thinking, what is this going to mean in 5 years? Is this going to be that so Musk can say, "Hey, I stood up for it," or "I told you he was a bad guy," or just so he can see he's on one side and Gates is on the other? And
I do think it's possible that they do say
everything's
that,
possible.
The Antichrist will come and be like, oh, he'll be handsome and bring all these solutions and whatever. But then he also brings the mark of the devil, and whatever, and there's Neuralink and all that thing. I'm not saying or accusing, just saying.
We all already have the mark of the beast. It's what was it? It was it was to track you. It was to watch your spending. It was for monitoring. It's right here. It's this. This is the mark of the beast. We all carry it. It gives all of our information all the time.
What's the Antichrist's birthday?
Ooh.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Yeah.
No, you have to say how old is.
Yeah, I got that. I'm trying to think of other questions to get around what's been blocked.
Oh, okay.
Because the birthday's been blocked, but how old? So how would the computer know how old they are if they don't know the birthday?
Mm.
Here's something I found on the web.
Oh.
According to dogplayer.net, they are covered from when they read 30 days old to their 18th birthday or 21st birthday if they read in full-time education.
Heard me say some weird question because I said the C word.
I'm convinced.
If there's something I can ask about the Antichrist, let me know. I'm trying to work around it.
Computer. I thought there was a couple of gold stories recently too.
What color hair does the Antichrist have?
Nope.
I don't have an answer for that.
Computer. What color eyes does the Antichrist have?
I don't have an answer for that.
Damn.
not saying she doesn't know. She just didn't have an answer. She wants to give you. I gave it she. I wonder if it's going to be annoyed and like tell me it's.
I don't
What are
have
my
an
pronouns?
That's not its pronouns.
Computer, what are your pronouns?
Computer, what are your pronouns?
As an AI, I don't have a preference.
She's not a biologist.
Yeah.
Can't tell you. I sent this to Bix this morning. Lost City of Gold discovered, a mineral company claims. A Canadian mineral company has declared a lost city of gold in South America.
Didn't Indiana Jones make a movie about that?
I think so.
El Dorado.
El Dorado.
I think it was Fleetwood Mac.
That could be too. Ba-dum-bum.
Anyway, I thought this was kind
El Dorado.
of exciting. Because there was also recently I found a story about I think it was Yellowstone Park manager or whoever's over the Yellowstone Park has been ordered to tell where the gold is in the park, to tell somebody. So I shared that story a few weeks ago.
Computer, what is the net worth of the Antichrist?
I don't know that.
Damn.
Does the Antichrist have a
doesn't
job?
know that one, but she didn't say I don't have an answer. That is weird.
What is the Antichrist's job?
What is the Antichrist computer? What is the Antichrist's job?
Crimson King is a ruler.
The ruler?
The Crimson King is the ruler? All right, that was the one. We got one.
Nice.
Crimson King? Computer, who is the Crimson King?
According to Wikipedia, the Crimson King, known to some as Los or Ramabala, is a fictional character created by Stephen King and the main antagonist of King's 8-volume Dark Tower series, as well as the novels
I knew the
Insomnia and
Crimson
Black
King.
House. Described as Dawn's crazy side, the Crimson
Computer.
King is the...
Who is the non-fictional Crimson King?
Here's something I found on the web. According to wikipedia.org, nonfiction, or nonfiction, is an account or representation of a subject
Really?
which is presented
Computer.
as fact.
Stop.
The real Crimson King, known as Lost or fictional,
Yeah.
created by. It still goes to the fictional. Who kills? Is Randall Flagg the Crimson King?
No, that's all whatchamacallit, Stephen King stuff.
Ah.
Crimson King historical, maybe something like that.
Ask who wrote The Eyes of the Dragon? It's Stephen King, but he used a fake name.
You're asking me or her?
Yeah. Yeah. Who wrote The Eyes of the Dragon?
I don't know.
What was it?
Apparently Stephen King.
Yeah, but he used a fake name.
Oh.
Computer, what's Stephen King's pen name?
Stephen King's pseudonyms are Beryl Evans, Richard Bachman, and Stephen King.
Richard Bachman and Beryl or Daryl Evans. Okay.
Crazy.
It's a good book.
I have not read it. I haven't read a book in a long time. It's sad.
Yeah, I haven't read many books in my life, period. And that's one I have. So.
I think the last book I read was, I don't even know, probably Calvin and Hobbes. I gotta be honest.
My buddy Keith Waring, he bought me a book a couple weeks ago, Becoming Supernatural, which I bought the audiobook so that I could read along with it to help me. But it's pretty interesting. It's about like our connection with the universe and all that kind of stuff, and what we're capable of. And the guy that wrote it, he's a he's a scientist. He's like a neuroscientist, like super brainiac. But then he got into the more like mystical kind of stuff about, meditation and all that kind of thing. And I'd said to Keith, I said, it seems the more advanced we get technologically, the more it seems to go into what we would have considered mystical or like hippy dippy kind of stuff.
Okay. Did I send you guys both the Bruce Lipton YouTube with Mickey Mouse?
Mm-hmm. I don't think so. Maybe. I've been busy today. If it was today.
It wasn't today.
Well, then I don't have
it goes right along with what Sean is saying. Sorry to interrupt, Sean. Go ahead. Keep going.
No, but I said that, and then the guy, he said it. I watched some like YouTube videos. He said it much more eloquently than I did. He said that mysticism is the new language of science, and I was like, yeah, that is true.
Okay, hold on. There's a really short video that I want you guys to watch, and
did we ever finish the Cliff news? The Uncle Cliff news? I don't remember.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
I'll have to take this out for you guys to be able to hear it.
Spell Mickey on a piece of paper and then turn it around upside down.
Yeah, it says wicked.
Oh yeah. You ever see there's a coffee mug that had Mickey written on the inside, and the reflection on the top of your coffee was wicked, and it was it's like scary. There's a lot of nasty stuff in Disney stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this is pretty brief. I might speed it up, but check this out. Oh wait, wrong one.
The most interesting point about knowledge in today's world is that we have a lot of knowledge, but very little wisdom on how to use that knowledge. The wonderful pursuit of science is to understand using the knowledge of how this universe works. And this is very different than the pursuit of technology. Technology is trying to turn science into product. And of course, there's a problem here. With a little knowledge, this technology has actually been destroying the planet. Technology today is really the cause of the chaos and the sixth mass extinction. And yet, for some reason, we keep looking at science as the fault in our problem. But it's not. It's the little knowledge held by technology which is actually creating the devastation and the sixth mass extinction. The most valuable aspect of knowledge is that we know very little. What we're observing in Mickey's behavior is a lot like what's going on in technology today. That is, there's a lot of information of how to create something, but not necessarily enough information on how to handle it. So, for example, plastic was a great idea, but now what? We have an ocean filled with waste plastic and polluting our world. Oh, nuclear power, great idea, got a bit of a problem. Nuclear waste is now threatening people on this planet.
It's a lie.
Pharmaceuticals, well, there was a great idea. We're going to help people. And yet today, for example, in the United States, over 300,000 people die every year from taking prescription drugs. Without the wisdom and full knowledge of how the body works, then we're facing the problem. The consequence of a lack of understanding and a lack of wisdom is actually self-destructive. The problem we face is the corporate people that create technology, using science without actually understanding the full knowledge of how to use that science. Like our friend Mickey downstairs. Mickey has the intelligence to use this knowledge to help him with his chores and his work, which is actually what technology was here for, to help us. However, technology without the wisdom of how to use this technology is problematic, as we can see right now. Well, Mickey could have started the whole process, having the chores being done by the brooms. He can't stop it, and he doesn't have the wisdom of how to use the magic. Through the misuse of this technology and destroying the planet, we are actually Mickey Mousing around with science as a negative consequence at the peril of our own lives. And remember, science is the pursuit of knowledge, and there's really nothing wrong with that, as long as we understand to use the science in harmony with the planet in which we live. You're not a very good student of all of this, Mickey. How many times have I told you you're not ready to use this magic? You have a long way to go and a lot of learning, and actually to understand the wisdom of how to use this science in a positive way than to create the mess you've just done.
You mean I have to know what I'm doing before I do it?
It helps.
Thoughts?
I've been thinking about that, especially because it's something that TPA said one of the last times we had a show. It was about nuclear power. And nuclear power is like, it's the way of the future. It's the cleanest. It's the best. It's the safest. But there's so much disinformation, and I've been wondering why. Like when he's talking about nuclear waste, do you know the problems that nuclear waste has caused? No, you don't, because there's none. There's no founding for it. There's no information on it. It's all Hollywood. You know what nuclear waste looks like? It's medicine, nuclear medicine. It's rubber gloves. That's nuclear waste. But when you think of nuclear waste, it's a drum that's glowing with green ooze, and that's not at all what it is. There's so much that's been put out, and you can't call it propaganda without making it a conspiracy, because then someone has to be putting out the propaganda. But why has all this been put out of what a problem that doesn't exist with nuclear waste?
Well, they were trying to keep people away from the sites. I know,
but I
believe that the sites were being used for other things.
And there's uranium is also one of the worst. One of the worst elements we can use. There's thorium. A thorium reactor is so much smaller, easier, better, safer, but there has to be interest and money put into it. Thorium is much more plentiful than uranium. It's a little bit harder to mine, but it's much more. It's like 18 times more of it than there is uranium. There's molten salt reactors, or MSRs. They're smaller, safer, as far as like stopping meltdowns and things like it. They're so much better, and all people have to do is just look into this a little bit. And there was an MSR that was being made, a thorium reactor. I forget the company that was making it, but it was like $1 billion they were putting into it, and it got pulled. And you're talking about oil cartels and coal and all these other, I guess, forces that are working against nuclear power. I guess you could say that could be someone that would create a conspiracy. But when you really start to look into it, there's not a problem. It's like if Hollywood started talking about all the problem that we have with people who are being poisoned by eating hammers, and then everyone just starts talking about people that die from eating hammers, but there's no statistics of anyone that's dying eating hammers, because there's not like studies, and there's not a ton of information on how many people die by eating a hammer.
What about Tide Pods?
But you can talk. Yeah, see, there's really not a lot of studies. That's a perfect example. We know that people do it. We know that it's bad, but there's not like a lot of information or studies on the effects or the groups that do it. I mean, you could say, oh, it's mainly, kids. You don't know that it's kids. You don't have any research to prove that. It's just whenever you saw a video, it was kids eating Tide Pods, and kids are stupid. So that's, of course, what you would think. But then what if there was like a real investigation done, and it's like 32-year-olds. 32-year-olds are the biggest demographic that actually eats Tide Pods. Blow your mind, But there's not that information out there. But I don't know. I thought it was really weird about
Well, not to put,
Molten
I didn't mean to
salt,
put so much focus
molten
on
salt
the,
thorium reactors are high temperature, low pressure reactors. The core is melted. They're low pressure. You look into them; they are so much better thorium than what we're using, and also thorium can be converted into a uranium like 233 or there's a lot to unpack with it, but it's really, really interesting.
Maybe we can all turn into the Hulk.
Yeah, that's another thing. There's not like there's no information on that making Godzillas. They made Godzilla because it's like nuclear power made the
that's
Godzilla.
a great point with the whole if you look into the what was it called? Oh gosh.
The Simpsons fried fish.
No, where they said those reactors melted down and that's why those babies look like that. Well, how come none of the animals from around that area are disfigured or have deformities or whatever? It's just the babies.
Wow. Imagine if the government or a company did some kind of experiment and then to cover it up, they did like a reactor.
They said it was a reactor.
Ooh.
That's
ouch.
Crazy to think of. That is, I mean,
And
it's
why would they want people to be afraid of? How do you keep people away from an area where they would be doing testing?
Yeah,
that they wouldn't want people to know about. Well, tell them that nuclear reactors are very dangerous and all the people that work there and
the Radium Girls. Have you guys ever looked into the Radium Girls?
Yeah, I've watched those.
The women who painted the luminous radium onto the dials of the watches back in the day. One of the things that they had to do was they always had to lick the tiny little paintbrush to get a nice fine point on there, and they would literally lose half their face. They'd still be alive, and they would have no jaw, holes, burns all over their bodies. There's some of that.
But they glow too.
Yeah, and they glowed.
There's a documentary on that.
Look into that if you want to see some funky stuff.
Yeah.
But they're actually eating it like daily, all day long, dipping it in 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
That's crazy stuff. Radium Girls.
Yeah. Chernobyl. Yes. No animals in that area were affected, but just
I watched this thing. If you look at nuclear waste, think of radioactive waste, nuclear waste, right? How much it is. And now think of waste from coal, oil, gas. It's not even comparable. They were talking about, because that's the thing. So this is information we have. Even if you take all the medical waste and radiological, waste from that we have here, you can't compare it to like one country's waste when it comes to traditional fossil fuels.
Yeah.
And
I thought we were going to not start calling them fossil fuels. I thought we agreed they weren't made out of dinosaurs.
Yeah, but sweetbreads are not made out of bread or sweet. Actually, they're kind of gross.
Oh, that's funny.
So if walnut oil is made out of oil, olive oil is made out of olives, what's baby oil made out of?
Made out of. I remember I was a little kid and my mother never cooked with shortening.
Still a little kid.
But I remember being over at my babysitter's house and they had those big Crisco canisters and it had like pie on the cover or cake or whatever. So I thought it was something delicious. So I remember they were
inside of an Oreo.
I grab it. Yeah, it looked like the Oreos filling. Got a big old spoon, like, I was like,
oh my gosh, that's terrible.
Or baking chocolate.
Yeah.
Hey, can I have a piece of the chocolate? No, you don't want to eat that. No, I want to eat it.
Have a piece of chocolate.
Sure. Oh, hey, I want to, before we go, one more time, I'm going to put up I put all the links in the description. It starts with Autumn's Litecoin address, then there's a Bitcoin address, and then it goes to her pay string on crypto.com.
Yeah.
And then you guys can, let's see, copy.
They have a GoFundMe if you wanted to use
it.
But I appreciate you guys helping out.
No, I definitely will be making a donation as well. I just want to put this up one more time. everybody, if you can be sending prayers, love, and light to baby Ezra and the family. Mom's name is Autumn. And Sean, thank you for giving us this opportunity for us to focus on something other than ourselves at this time when things seem uncertain for us. There are people that are, always going through something much more than what we're looking at. So all of our love to their family and to you, and appreciate you.
Hey, what Tom said mean? WWG1 WGA.
Where we go one, we go all.
Okay.
Yes. So we're all together.
Always.
Yep. Yeah, looking out for each other. All right, guys. Well, thank you again. I will see you guys tomorrow with Johnny. We were on this morning on a Twitter Spaces with Get Hedge.
Oh, also want to have a Twitter Space with you, about DeFi.
Cool.
And talking DeFi and getting that set up. Maz isn't in here, but he messaged me. He's like, "Hey man, you know anything I could do to get like $400 or $500 a month?" Yeah. And I was literally going through my minds, and I was setting up one on, it was PancakeSwap, had a good one. I set that up for, it was like $2,500 worth of BUSD, so that doesn't go down.
Okay.
And then $2,500 worth of, I think it was 8Pay, but that was $80 a day.
Wow.
So I mean, I was like, dude, I'm making $80 a day from this one farm, and I got $2,500 I put into it. It's like not
with a $2,500 investment or a $5,000 investment.
Was it $5,000? Yeah, it was $5,000. No, it was like $4,800 that I put in. $4,800, and I'm making $78 a day. And that's, I mean, it's actually, here, I can show you on screen. I'm going to show you on screen. Let me go to my Pancake just to show you. This was yesterday afternoon. Hold on.
Well, when we do it, I'm going to do a link for my Patreon to be able to listen in and screen share for them so they can see what's going on.
Okay.
These are the kind of opportunities I'm trying to help them with.
Can I share?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I got to move this over or else it's going to do that thing where it...
Don't share anything with me that Hunter would share with his father.
No dead hookers.
Ugh.
Okay. So search by APR. Am I connected? No, I'm not connected. Hold on. Okay. So this one did not do, but it's 503, 467%. I've made $60 in like, I don't know, 12 hours, 18 hours, something like that. $60.
That's awesome.
$4,800 I put into a total. So that's, what is that? That's $2,500 a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like 50
from working at McDonald's for like 2 months, and then taking that money, put it into farming, and you could quit your job for you work for 2 months. It's like, I don't know why more people don't do DeFi.
Sean, how does the down markets in this affect that? Apparently not much, but how does that affect? I know you mentioned one of the coins was a stable coin.
Makes a cake that I'm earning worth $4. So if I can afford to not spend this is $15, like a year ago. This is cake. This is
because you're earning the coins. So the dollar amount may be low now, but when it goes back up, it'll be
if you can afford to not
exponential.
Use this, you're gonna, because people, you buy cake. I would tell you to buy cake right now at $4, and I would tell you to buy cake under $10. It's like the B&B. It's like B&B. It's PancakeSwap coin. So it's going to shoot up dramatically, but that's why I think you get a percentage. So in a down market, you're still getting a percentage. So you're actually getting, I think, more
coin, less dollar amount, but
the same dollar amount. So it would have to be more coin.
Yeah,
it's a percentage of what you have in there. So
interesting. I would like to learn more about
It's
that.
431% here. And you could do this like my balance. I put in $4,800. So it's $60 a day. But for every 1,000, that's $12. So if you put in just $10,000, you're making $120 a day. That's what? Geez, that's pretty good. That's like close to $4,000 a month. Can you
making 40% on your 40% return?
$124 a month or a day.
Wow.
So every month, that's a compound. Every 30 days, $4,500.
And just let it sit. Yeah. Wow.
I mean, it's $1 million a year. That's crazy. And that's at $4.31. So if a year from now that doubled, that'd be like $2 million. DeFi is so simple, so easy.
I need to learn more about that for sure, dude.
To take back, your income. It's just like it's nuts. And even
when do you want to do this? Or you just did it, I guess.
No, I want to.
Do you want to do more
I've never had a Twitter space. I've never hosted a Twitter space.
Yeah.
So I want to do that with you and bring everybody in and we can talk about it.
Yeah. So we'll schedule that. You want to do it like this weekend or you want to do it tonight or when do you want to do that?
I'll talk to you about it.
Okay.
I want to do it because I want to
to
try to get it sponsored too so that we can have it sponsored and have them push it too.
And get more people in there. I would love it.
All right. I'll watch that one for sure.
Well, I'll have another way for you to listen in since you can't be on Twitter. But I'll have a screen share for Patreon.
Can you listen on Twitter without being signed in?
No, I can't get on Twitter Spaces at all without being signed in.
Not as a guest. That's weird.
No. I haven't found a way yet.
Can you just go sign up again?
No, I tried like 5 or 6 times. The most I've been on is like a week, and it's like done. I use even if you use VPNs and stuff, I get on for a couple of days and I'm gone. Yeah. Blocked. I think it's through my provider. I think it's even above the IP itself. I think it's through the provider.
New Jersey's so weird. You know, Lisa, they don't pump their own gas there.
Damn right.
New Jersey's like the last state on Earth. Not even the United States, on the Earth.
See, when I was in college, I used to be able to go places where they would pump my gas and they would vacuum my car out and clean my windshield and all that.
That doesn't
I love that.
Was there doo-wop music playing in the background? A whole bunch of guys run out.
Yeah, these little 3 guys run out.
No, but it was so nice. Now my husband.
Yeah, it's because I grew up in New Jersey, and that was like a legitimate job. Like,
oh yeah,
what are you gonna pump gas the rest of your life, kid? Huh?
That was a great job in high school. I did it for about a month, and then I kept screwing up because I couldn't give the right change, and it was like, whatever. You're stealing. I'm not stealing. I just don't count well.
But yeah, there's you could people still pump your gas in New Jersey.
Yep.
Wow.
It's so odd.
Yep.
It's so odd.
That's what keeps us cheaper than a lot of other places, though. Supposedly, we're not bad here. Prices are bad. Don't get me wrong; they're bad, but they're not nearly as high.
You got to pay a dude to pump your gas.
I don't know.
Oh, it's unionized. I bet it's unionized, and that's why.
No, I don't think there's a gas pumpers union.
I bet there is, and they don't want to lose their jobs, and so that's why.
There has to be. Money. It has to be run by the mob.
There's bet it is.
Why else would there still be just one country, or one state that they're holding on?
Yeah. It has to be a union.
I thought there might be one more. I thought there was one more.
I think there used to be. I think New York and New Jersey.
The last.
But I saw, I think it was yesterday or the day before. It's like it's weird to me that New Jersey's the last state where we don't.
Israel moved one little last bit of information. Israel moved their airplane flight service, whatever their airline is, headquarters to Florida today, out of New York. That seems significant to me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I think this is the month.
You're right, Sean. Oregon was the last, and now they're
really.
Gone. Yep.
It's gone from Oregon.
There you go. There you go.
Oregon.
All right, guys, I got to go. Sean, let me know. I would love to join you on that. And public, I'll have a way through Patreon to. And you guys, for Uncle Cliff, live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper.